Okay.
Are you will do it right now? Let me see the crowd just looking here. Whenever you want.
Spaces for civic engagement are crucial to democracy and civil society operations.
Duterte's war on drugs is plunging the Philippines into an unprecedented human rights crisis.
I have been working with civil society groups since 2003, and it was only in mid-2015 that I came across the term closing or shrinking of the civic space.
There hasn't been enough documentation by activists for activists about the strategies to reclaim civic space. And so the workshop that we've been doing over the last couple of days and the research that the activists have been producing will come into a special issue that we hope will be disseminated far and wide amongst activists.
Y son personas que invitamos a escribir a la revista Sur sobre ese tema, ¿no? Enfocando principalmente en las resistencias, en las estrategias de resistencia que esas personas utilizan en su cotidiano, en su día a día, para contrarrestar ese cierre constante y cada vez mayor del espacio democrático, del espacio cívico.
We wanted to offer a space that allowed the activists themselves to describe what they were confronting in their day-to-day lives in terms of the shrinking of civic space and the strategies that they are using. We want to understand what the strategies are, and we want to allow our audience to understand, our readers to understand what those strategies are, with the idea that those strategies can be used in other contexts.
We are a civil society. What power do we have? So in our work, of course, a lot of it is depending on the written word, on testimonies of individuals, on reports that we write. And over the last 10 years specifically, B'Tselem also has a unique video project. So these are the two main ways for us to tell the story of daily life for Palestinians living under occupation for the past 50 years, how to share that with Israelis, with Palestinians, and with the global audience.
O Complexo Alemão é uma favela do Rio de Janeiro, né? Um lugar de pessoas humildes e que são muito marcados pela violência do lugar, pela violência na forma como o Estado chega até nós. E o meu trabalho, ele parte de usar ferramentas independentes como um celular e a internet para tentar denunciar a violência do Estado naquele lugar, chamar a atenção para as políticas públicas que não chegam e para tentar disputar uma narrativa numa cidade, numa sociedade que diz que o nosso lugar é violento, é negativo, é problemático.
In terms of strategy, Spaces for Change adopts many models, and we're still testing some of those approaches that we've been using. Basically, we loved to gather the data. We love to build the evidence. We want to understand the sector. We want to understand, for instance, government motivations, and we want to interrogate those motivations. What is now needed is a continuously active and ever vigilant civic community that is always ready to ask questions, demand answers, and hold the government accountable at all times.
We are activists, and to a certain extent we've faced threats before. I guess the only difference now is the scale and the extent that it's happening. When the killing started to happen in the Philippines, I must admit that we are all shocked. At the same time, while trying to understand the situation, we're also trying to identify what strategies we can use to fight back and to resist, how we can work with movements that we haven't worked with before, how we can rebuild bridges with sectors and organizations that we are in conflict with other issues. We need to renew our faith towards each other, that when the government is trying to dehumanize one sector, trying to tell the world that drug users are not people, we can fight back and tell them that we can relate to these people. They could be our friends, our brothers, our sisters, that they can be ourselves. The Duterte government has also targeted political institutions to impair constitutional checks and balances. In 1 year, his supermajority in Congress has thwarted legislative inquiries on the war on drugs and an impeachment complaint, and a staunch opposition senator is in jail from trumped-up drug charges. He has dismissed the importance of due process and human rights, of UN institutions and the international community.
En contextos como este de aumento de la violencia, en el que el Estado se vuelve más represor, pues por supuesto quienes representamos una oposición, pues somos enemigos del Estado y en ese sentido pues nos reprimen, nos llaman delincuentes y es algo con lo que estamos luchando y por eso estoy aquí. Digamos que tenemos distintos tipos de estrategias. Una gran parte del movimiento social en México está enfrentando estas reformas, intentando evitar que algunas culminen, otras de manera legal, como interponiendo pues eso, ¿no? Por otra parte, estamos también tejiendo como muchas alianzas que nos permitan hacerle frente a estas situaciones.
The issue of civic space, of course, has mobilized civil society in many different parts of the world. In fact, activists are organizing, they are connecting with each other across different sectors, across different work streams within civil society. We find a number of public protests happening, we find the social media being used. There are of course a multitude of factors, and many of us are now also enthused by the fact that we need to come together to promote a better understanding of what democracy means. What democracy means in substance. Democracy is not just about the motion of going through elections.
Nós, como movimento de direitos humanos, temos que renovar nossa linguagem. E o que eu achei mais interessante que apareceu aqui é não perder a política de vista nisso. Reforçar nossa linguagem, nos livrar dos jargões e das divisões que fazem parte de qualquer movimento, mas de tentar traduzir, não sei se traduzir é a melhor palavra, mas tentar expor as nossas ideias de forma que as pessoas sintam que elas são universais. Eu escrevo porque as ideias que transbordam necessitam de ordem e podem ter maior alcance quando elas estão escritas. Eu escrevo também porque eu tenho o privilégio de fazê-lo.
So that process of writing is extremely important for all of us. We are now audiovisual, we are now social media, but I have to say that as an academic, I believe that there is still nothing more important than the written word.
One of the questions they asked us today is, why do we write? And I said, there is a part of me that won't keep quiet if I don't let the words come out.
When I feel angry, when I feel upset, when I feel devastated, I write to remind myself of who I am, remind myself of my struggles, and remind myself that my life and my lived experiences matter.
Pues yo creo que la escritura es la hoja en blanco, ¿no? Es un espacio político también que hay que tomar, ¿no?
We need to write about the language of human rights, we need to talk about social justice concepts, and we need to talk about the inherent value of civil society.
I feel that it is too important for me to continue writing for myself and for people in Pakistan, because I refuse to be erased, and I don't want people in my country to be erased.
Yo escribo para expresar mi rabia y mi indignación en relación a la injusticia y en relación a lo que no funciona bien en el mundo, a las exclusiones, a las opresiones. Entonces, es una forma de expresar lo que hay dentro de mí. Y escribo porque sé que hay personas que me leerán y que eso será importante de alguna manera. Creo que cuando escribimos siempre tocamos a alguien en algún momento, y esto lo digo porque también muchas personas me han tocado a través de lo que escribieron, entonces por eso escribo.